Welcome in everybody to the second episode of the Fantasy Flourish. I'm your host Ben Hossler, joined by my good friend Matt Kittelberger. This is a little more uh, the first episode of the show. We were kind of rushed into doing the March Madness show. We really wanted to get that out, and it was just a little bit different than how the podcast normally is going to go. So this is going to be a little more of an actual episode. We can kind of introduce the pod here because we didn't get to do that in the first one. Talk about what's to come, what the podcast is going to be about. And we're going to cover what's been going on in the NCAA tournament. We're going to talk about little betting stuff. We're going to be doing a Masters podcast next weekend, so we can kind of preview that a little bit. And then we're going to do something that we're going to do on the show quite often. We're going to draft an all-time roster. So if you're watching on YouTube, you see the team thing there up on the screen. We'll kind of get to that. But before we dive in here, do want to shout out our sponsor, betkarma.com, for putting on the podcast. Matt, how are you doing this weekend?
Our golf outing got canceled, but after our showing last weekend, it's probably for the best. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of people on the payroll here at the Fantasy Flourish. We have obviously Matt, myself, Snake, my cousin Jack. We got Chicago Jeff. Like, there's plenty of faces to meet throughout the course of doing this podcast. Last week we had a golf outing, which was our first one. Obviously, Matt and I golf a lot. That's going to be a recurring theme here on the pod. We'll be talking about golf. Matt and I, we're looking for challenges as well. If you're located in Northeast Ohio, or if you want to travel to Northeast Ohio, you want to take on Matt and myself in a 2v2 golf scramble, slide into my Twitter DMs. I would prefer if I somewhat know you, just for like safety purposes, but we can set some stuff up there if you are interested in playing us in golf. But first golf outing was last week. We were supposed to have one today, as Matt just said. Thankfully, that got canceled because we live in Ohio, can't have nice things. It's like 30 degrees here, so that would have been miserable. But we did not play to our abilities last week, Matt. I don't know if you fully know what happened there, but we just didn't have it. We battled, but we did not have it.
Yeah, didn't make any putts. Had a lot of 65-yard wedge shots in that we left ourselves with like 25 feet. It was cold.
There was a couple times we were 60 in and we just didn't even hit the green. I mean, 4 people.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully people challenge us after hearing this.
Yeah, actually, that might bump up the interest. Yeah. So people might be trying to come play us now. We have one booked. We have one 2v2 booked, so you guys know. But we have the whole summer coming up.
Yeah, it's cold. It's windy. You're bad golfers, and wind doesn't bode well. And this guy in the red shirt in front of us that we timed him taking his practice swings. So he teed the ball up, takes practice swings, and it was like a minute and 25 seconds before he actually hit the ball. So that's what we were playing against. I don't know. Threw us off our mojo. I guess I'm just making excuses for how bad we are at golf. So.
Yeah, it just wasn't our day, to be honest. But yeah, the guy taking a minute to hit a shot wasn't helping. But yeah, we have plenty more golf stuff coming up this summer. Like I said, if you guys are interested in playing, reach out to me. We're going to be posting on a separate YouTube channel. So these videos are going to be uploaded to the Karma Media Network account, which you guys know if you're watching this. But we have a separate YouTube channel for the pod that we're going to be posting some vlog style stuff, some golf stuff. So if you want to come play us, you want to come on the vlog, that will be posted throughout the summer. When we'll see, we can keep track of Matt and I's record against people if they want to come out and play us. Like I said, we have one booked. But overall, so that's kind of what the podcast is. Matt, obviously, we kind of talked about in the first one, but he's my best friend, lifelong friend. We're going to be talking a lot of season-long fantasy football as we get closer to this season, talking a lot of sports betting, kind of what we're betting on, and then the golf stuff. But we can kind of hop in here and just, before we get to the draft, we can kind of talk about the NCAA tournament. Obviously, we had that big episode going over, breaking down the whole bracket. I think for the most part, like, we were right about a lot of stuff, definitely wrong about some stuff, which you're always going to be. But I think overall, in terms of teams that we were a little bit lower on than the field, we kind of nailed that for the most part. We didn't want to pick Gonzaga to win. That worked out. We didn't want to pick Tennessee to go very far. That worked out. We were higher on Kentucky than consensus, which obviously did not work out as they lost their first game. But we were also higher than consensus on Houston, and they're still in the running here. So I make 5 brackets every year, and I have one with Houston winning, so that one is still live. I have a Houston 28-1 to win the national title ticket from the first day of the tournament that is still live. That's down to 3.5 to 1. So I'm feeling good about that. Probably won't hedge that unless they make it to the title game, because how this is setting up is Duke is going to beat North Carolina to go to the championship, and if it is Duke Houston or even Duke Kansas, like whoever they play, it's going to be tough not to side with Duke with the whole Coach K last game going out on top narrative, right? So if it ends up being Duke Houston, that's likely when I'll hedge. I'm not going to hedge until the title game though. Like that's when I would consider it. But this is setting up for Duke over North Carolina in the Final Four, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. Justin actually called me today. He was like, dude, if Duke wins tonight, I'm going to the Final Four, because there's no way that North Carolina wins. I also said last night that there's no way St. Peter's beats Purdue. But Matt Painter is now on our instant fade list going forward.
Yeah, Matt Painter's a fraud coach.
Not sure how you don't just insert Edey and Trevion Williams in the lineup at the same time. And I mean, St. Peter's really couldn't guard one of them, but if you got both of them in there, I don't know. So that game should have been close. But I know you said we're higher on Kentucky than consensus, which we were. I said Kentucky's going to win the title after they lost to Duke the first game of the year. Kentucky did look like the best team in the country before Ty Washington and Wheeler got hurt. But I don't know. St. Peter's, like, they shouldn't win, but I mean, they
just play
they're
hard,
actually
man.
not that bad. Like, they get after it defensively, and I mean, it frustrates a lot of teams. And I said to you last night, like, imagine if Duke just played with this sort of effort. Like, they beat everybody. It wouldn't even be close. Like, Duke was one that we did miss on. It's just, I mean, being a Duke fan, like, I try to be as unbiased as possible, and coming into it, like, they didn't look great. They get smoked at home in Coach K's last game by Carolina, get smoked by Virginia Tech. But yeah, we did say coming in that Houston and Arizona were the 2 best teams in the tournament. You picked Houston, I picked Arizona. I really think if they play 10 times, they probably split them 5-5.
Yeah, the edge might even go to Arizona, but I don't know. To that point, when we're talking about St. Peter's, like, they get after it defensively. Like, I think, because a lot of smart people that I think are very smart when it comes to college basketball, but a lot of people were just light on Houston prior to the tournament. They were light on Houston during the tournament because they were down arguably their 2 best players. And they just kept winning, like, despite that. So they were, like, kind of assuming, like, that luck was going to run out at some point. But to that point, they play exactly like St. Peter's, just extremely hard and tough and rebounding. They're just better athletes and better players across the board. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly, like, didn't feel good about the Arizona game going into it. I kind of thought that they were going to lose, but I don't know. I mean, Arizona really wasn't in that game. They cut it to 2 early second half, and then Houston immediately went on another, like, 9-10 point run. So they kind of handled them very well. But I've seen a lot of smart people, like, say their models favor Villanova against them tonight, even though Houston's favored. I think Houston's going to beat Villanova. By the time this podcast is out, that game will have already happened. So, or it will be in the process of happening. So we'll know, but I don't know. I need the good vibes here. We're going to, hopefully Houston can make a run here.
Yeah, I mean, we were on Kansas from the, what are they in the South region? Sorry, I don't have the bracket in front of me.
Yeah, I don't have the bracket pulled up. But
I mean, like we said, Fade Bruce Pearl, they look terrible. Miami does look really good, but I really don't think that they're going to be a problem for Kansas. The game, it'll probably be a good game, but I do think Kansas would win that. I do like Houston tonight. I like Duke as well. And St. Peter's is playing well, and I mean they match up really, really well with North Carolina. I mean, I think North Carolina is just a more talented version of what St. Peter's is. I don't think they get after it as much as them on defense, obviously, but it's sort of the same type of team build, in my opinion. And UCLA would be the same way. And if they were playing Baylor, I mean, Baylor would be the same way. So, I mean, I think that they match up really well. I don't think that they're going to win, but I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they do win.
Yeah,
but
I'll be rooting for St. Peter's, but I don't know if they can keep doing it, man.
The universe isn't going to let them win, so you get Coach K against North Carolina in the Final Four.
Yeah. And honestly, that's something like I said, like we normally make 5 brackets each, or you make 4 or whatever. I always make 5. Probably should have had that in one just because. Looking back, like that was totally possible because we didn't really like obviously we didn't like Baylor, so it was pretty clear, and we didn't really like Purdue either, for that matter. Like we really only liked Kentucky. And we didn't love UCLA, but we liked them in that region because we didn't like Baylor, because we didn't like Purdue. So looking back, like we definitely should have been a little bit more on North Carolina. I think originally, like when we first did our first bracket, look on Sunday night, we had North Carolina over Baylor, but then we had them losing to UCLA. But that's something we should have revisited, I think, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, other than that, like all my brackets are chalked, and a lot of it was.
My only hope is Houston, man.
Yeah, Kentucky screwed us night 1, right? But I think anything else that we missed, like we really didn't miss any big games. I know we took a lot of like not the underdogs per se, but like the underdogs in the public eye that just didn't win. So.
I mean, I missed on Arkansas a little bit. I was lower on them. I had them losing, obviously. I thought UConn would beat them. UConn didn't even make it out of their first game.
Yeah, Providence we missed too.
Yeah.
We didn't like them. But, I mean, every other game, really, like we talked about. I don't think we talked about Iowa getting beat. I think that was a shock. But anything else, I think we had at least, even if we didn't talk about it on the pod, we had at least mentioned to each other, like, hey, I mean, this could happen, but you know.
And if Houston wins, it's not even gonna matter for me, like, because that's just I'll be top. I'll win or come in second all of my pools, just if Houston wins.
Right. I mean,
I'm the only person.
We talked the night before brackets locked, and I was like set on everything, and I was like, I can't decide between Houston and Arizona. And you said, I mean, you just got to go with your conviction in Arizona, and if I flip that, I'm in the same position as you, that like I'm riding Houston. I mean, any other brackets you look at in your pools, like
this year is hilarious, dude. Unless people have Duke, there's just like no one with good points left, other than the people that have Duke. Like, because I'm not counting Kansas, because they were not popular, but they were one of the more. I think they were 3rd or 4th behind Gonzaga and Arizona for like highest pick champ. So like a decent amount of people have like Kansas winner brackets, but I mean outside of them, I mean no one has Houston. Few people have Duke, like you said, just because they played so bad in the ACC tournament, and not many people have Villanova. Not many people have North Carolina at all. So. Unless you have Kansas, I mean, you're going to be in a good spot if Kansas doesn't win.
One of the more impressive brackets that I think I've ever seen, because this year has been crazy. So it's somebody that I work with. I just pulled it up, so I'm looking at it on my other screen. So in the East region, I think she said this is the first time she's ever made a bracket in her life. So
this is the people that always win, man.
Like she kind of trolled like. She had Indiana beating St. Mary's. She had Akron going to the Elite 8. And she had Akron and Kentucky in the Elite 8. But, like, other than that, so she's got Arkansas against Duke in the Elite 8. She had Memphis over Gonzaga, which almost happened. She has Villanova in the Elite 8 against Arizona. So, like, she had the Houston-Arizona game. And then, like, in the Midwest, this is where it's crazy. She has Kansas and Miami in the Elite 8.
Oh.
So she's got 3 of her 4 Final Four. She has Arkansas, Kentucky, Villanova, and Kansas in the Final Four, Arkansas and Kansas in the championship, and Arkansas winning it. So, like, whatever happens just up to this point, like, if you don't troll with Akron U going to the Elite Eight, like, and you took UCLA or North Carolina or whatever, like, that's actually a pretty impressive bracket. But yeah, like you said, it's those ones that, like, we're very process over results when it comes to picking the bracket, and we spend a lot of time, probably more time than we should going through it, but it's fun for us. So, I mean, we do have success more times than not. Like, I think 3 out of the last 4 years, one of us has won that big pool that we've been in.
Yeah.
Or at least been top 3. But yeah, it's just those ones that, like, you can put all the numbers into it that you want, but there is a luck element involved, and
for sure.
Just whatever team colors you like or whatever logo you like, you know. But no, props to her. I think that's cool that she's got a lot of the Elite Eight teams that you wouldn't guess. So
yeah. So I don't want to give out. I'm up over 15 units on the NCAA tournament alone. BetKarma.com. That's where you can get my picks for free in the Discord, or you follow on TikTok. BetKarma.com on TikTok. I give out bets there. I'm not going to give out any on this because by the time you guys watch it, the games for Saturday night will be over. And I don't know what's happening after that, but I encourage you guys, get the good vibes rolling. Ride Houston with me. Hopefully they win. So if they win against Villanova by the time you watch this, ride them with me against Kansas or Miami, I guess, if Miami pulls the upset off. That would be ideal, man. I would love Miami to beat Kansas as someone that has Houston. I mean, that would just be massive. But yeah, so if you guys, this is a good time, comment if you want us to bring guests on the pod. We have a couple booked. Let us know in the comments who you guys want to come on the podcast. We're going to be bringing, hopefully, the CEO on next weekend, Anthony Carson from DFS Karma. He's going to come on and talk to us about the Masters, how he bets golf. I mean, this guy was on an absolute heater at the beginning of golf season. I think he picked the outright winner three or 4 weeks in a row to start the year. So he's always been really good, both at DFS and betting for golf. So he's going to come on and we're going to talk Masters, how to bet golf, maybe some DFS picks as well. I haven't done a ton of Masters research yet. I know Matt had the odds pulled up, but being the big golf fans that we are, I mean, this is one of the best weeks of the year coming up here.
Yeah, definitely is. I look forward to this one every year. I'd love to go one year. I know it's super hard to get tickets. Isn't there a lottery that you have to enter?
Yeah, I believe you have to enter in a lottery for sure to get tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's one place that I would love to go. We were talking, a couple weeks ago about like the fees that it is to become a member at Augusta. It was like, you would think it's hundreds of thousands of dollars initiation fee and then massive fees on top, but it was like $40,000 initiation fee and then like $2,500 or $3,000.
Yeah, it's actually not
that
bad. It's actually more feasible. Like, I think like I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people can be members there. But I do think there's like a waiting list, and they like cap it. So that's where it would be hard, just because I think you have to wait so long to.
Yeah. It's
like the Packers season tickets. You know, like I could apply for Packers season tickets, and then maybe like my great grandson will get them for me. You know, it just takes so long to get in. But yeah, we're gonna bring Anthony on. We're gonna talk some golf betting in the next episode, and then the week after that, baseball will be coming. So I think we're gonna do a MLB DFS preview. We're gonna bring on someone, but obviously I'm a very heavy DFS player myself. We'll talk about how to research baseball, and then just preview like who we think is gonna win and stuff like that. So we'll do a little baseball preview after the Masters episode, but I'm stoked for the Masters episode. Yeah, do you have anything else to cover before we get into this draft?
I mean, do we want to talk NFL free agency? I know that this is.
Yeah, we can touch on it. Obviously, being located in Northeast Ohio, we are Browns supporters at heart. So I know Matt and I both are stoked about just not having to watch Baker Mayfield play quarterback anymore. But yeah, I mean, this has been one of the craziest, maybe the craziest offseason I can remember. I mean, it all kind of kicked off. I mean, we've had Brady retiring, and then he unretires. I don't remember as many just star level players changing teams in the NFL like this. I mean, Russell Wilson gets traded, Devontae
I mean,
Adams gets traded.
Rodgers signs for $50 million
Yeah,
a year to come back to Green Bay after he's mulling retirement and going to other teams, and they re-sign Adams or franchise tag them or whatever, and then 2 to 3 days after Rodgers signs, they ship him off to the Raiders.
yeah, and won me a bet. So if you guys don't know, Snake, who is a part of our golf group, I doubt he'll ever make an appearance on the pod, but maybe we'll call him in sometimes for like a couple
There's no
segments.
way. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't think there's any way that if you ask John to fire up his webcam and get on this meeting,
No, that's why I'm saying
not,
we might be able to call him and like he'll just answer his phone and he'll be on the pod for a short segment. But yeah, there's no way he ever gets a webcam rolling whatsoever.
It's like it's gonna be like opening a chest or something. He says his gun disappears, like his camera doesn't turn on, or
there's just no way. But him and I bet. He claims he doesn't remember this bet, but Snake is an honorable man. He paid up on the bet. I have no reason to make this up, so I don't know why he like wouldn't believe me. But him and I bet when Patrick Mahomes signed his contract 2 years ago, whatever that was, that I said that within the next 5 years, someone will beat Patrick Mahomes like guaranteed money or like yearly salary, and he said that there's no way. Which obviously Rodgers beat that this year, so. He paid up. He paid me my $100 from the bet, but yeah, I mean, soon after Rodgers beat it, I mean, the Browns gave Deshaun Watson the most, a first ever fully guaranteed contract in NFL history. So it's just gonna keep going up. The salary cap's gonna go up. I mean, wait till Herbert and Burrow and these guys need contracts. Like it's just gonna get crazy more and more.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, I don't know. What's also crazy is like Tyreek Hill he got $30 million a year, and then Christian Kirk? Would he get $20 million a year? 21?
Yeah, the Tyreek thing was insane because the news came out. So the news came out like whatever day that was, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. It comes out like, hey, the Chiefs offered Tyreek X amount of money. He wants more. They're open to a trade, and then literally within 2 hours he was traded. I mean, that was insane how fast that went.
Yeah, and you know how much I like Nick Wright. He can be a little outlandish in some of his takes, but I watch First Things First every morning, and like he is a big-time Chiefs homer, but he said it is like, if you think about it, a smart trade. Yeah, it does change Kansas City, but like that's what the teams that are routinely good year after year, that's what they do. Like they're not spending money on the big players. Like they get what they want out of them, and they're like, oh, okay, somebody else is going to pay top dollar and give us a whole bunch of picks back, and we can just reload. Like, so I do like the move for both teams, really. Like Waddle and Hill together, I think will be good for Tua. Like, if Tua doesn't succeed with those guys and with the new coach,
they brought in Terron Armstead. O-line, but. Yeah, I think it was a good trade for both sides. It all comes down to Mahomes, right? Like having a quarterback on a rookie deal is the most advantageous thing in all of sports. So now that like these Mahomes payments are going to kick in, sure they can convert money to signing bonuses and free up spots, free up a little space each year, but it all comes down to that. They weren't able to give Tyreek the money he wanted because of the massive money allocated to Mahomes, but I think I saw a stat that they've actually won a higher percentage of their games with Tyreek off the field. It's not like a large, it's like 1%, but they're just as good with him off the field as they are on. They brought in Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who isn't like Tyreek in terms of like being a route runner, but he's a deep threat. And they still have Travis Kelce. Yeah, and they still have Mahomes.
Better version of Hardman, like.
Yeah, for sure. And they're still just going to be very good. The problem is now their division is so loaded, so I don't think they can just walk. Like last year they didn't play, and we were kind of on it. Like we didn't think that it was more bad luck than anything, but they're not going to be able to like just coast for 10 games like they did last year playing in that division. They're going to have to be on it from the start, but they're still the Chiefs and they're going to be one of the Super Bowl favorites each year.
Yeah, I mean their division's loaded. Like the Broncos roster I like a lot. I think the Broncos roster is similar to the Browns. Like they just needed a quarterback, right? And I mean, the Chargers are loaded. They loaded up on defense too. And then the Chiefs and the Raiders aren't bad either. I really like what the Raiders have done and what they have. And then like the Bengals, like yeah, you have arguably the best receiver in football, probably the best receiving core in football. Add Hayden Hurst, add a whole brand new offensive line, a defense that played well in the playoffs. Then you have Cleveland. Like if Watson plays, like they're arguably the best roster in football. The Bills, I mean, I feel like I just named 7 teams right there, and only 7 teams get in the playoffs. So they still got the Ravens. And, I mean, I don't know what you're going to get from Trubisky in Pittsburgh, but like, I don't think they're going to be worse with Trubisky than they were with Ben. Like, I don't know. The AFC is loaded. We talked about like Brady unretiring, and then that report came out yesterday about him potentially wanting to go to the Dolphins. You made a good point. Like, why would he want to go there when he could walk to the Super Bowl in the NFC?
I mean, there's like 3 solid, really 2. I would say there's 2 solid contenders in the NFC in Tampa and the Rams. And then you have like the Packers are fringy contender without Adams, but they still have Rodgers. They're going to probably draft a receiver finally. Like they'll still be good. And they're still going to be the clear favorites in that division. They're probably going to get home field in the playoffs, like whatever. So they're there. But I mean, outside of those 3, you can make the case for a San Fran. You can make the case for like Arizona. I just don't think is winning anything with Cliff. I don't think Dallas is winning anything with McCarthy. So I just don't really count those guys as true contenders. Whereas like the AFC has 7, 8 guys that you really could see going to the Super Bowl. So yeah, it would just make no sense for Brady to want to go back to the AFC. It's much easier for him in the NFC. But I'm ready, man. I get to this point with football where it ends. Like doing all the content I do, like it does get old by the time we get to like week 17, week 18 playoffs. But you give me a solid 3 weeks off, and I'm ready. Like we can just lock back in to football.
Yep, feel that.
But yeah. So speaking of football, we can head on to this last segment here. We're going to be doing this regularly on the show. So you guys will come to know and love this. And you guys are going to play a part in this as well, the viewers. You guys are going to have to vote on your favorite team. So what Matt and I will be doing is an all-time draft. We're going to start out first one ever with football. We'll be doing all-time baseball drafts. We can do pitcher drafts, NBA. And whenever we have a guest on, we're going to be doing triple threat drafts as well, so that'll be fun. But how this is going to work is I have a randomizer right here, as you guys can see on the screen. I'm going to randomize an NFL team. Whoever's turn it is will pick one player from that team for their roster. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the rosters listed to the right. We will have quarterback, running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 offensive flex. For offensive line, you can pick a team's offensive line from whatever era you want. You just can't, like, we're not going to go through individual offensive linemen, but you can pick the team. Then we have 1 defensive lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 DB, 1 defensive flex, and then a head coach. For each team, there's no duping players, so if I take a player from the Steelers, Matt, if he gets the Steelers, has to pick a different player. We can only have 1 player per team, so if I roll the Steelers twice, I'll just re-roll. We're going to build a team back and forth. When it's all said and done, you guys comment on the video. We'll post it on socials as well, and we'll see which team you guys like better. We're going to keep track of records for this. We'll see, you know, after 100 episodes who has the higher win percentage among the drafts. But Matt, we can start with you since you are not the co-host. I'm going to roll this team. We'll just get underway here. First
All right,
team,
let's do it.
Houston Texans pops up for you.
Can I just take Bob as my coach?
What a way to start. Yeah, yeah. If you picked Bill O'Brien, imagine. We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do worst team ever as well for one of our drafts moving forward, because that'll be really fun.
Oh man. I mean, could make a case for a couple guys here, right? But I think the easy pick is probably J.J. Watt.
Yeah, that's what I would take. So that's a good pick.
I mean, this is a good one to start on, right? Like they have 19 years of history, so a lot of rich history and players to pick from there. But
yeah, and if you guys are watching on YouTube, we'll have the teams on screen here. If you guys are just listening, I'll read the teams at the end for you guys. But if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the teams right there. All right, let's roll for my team. Kansas City Chiefs. I will. Oof. I mean, there's plenty of options, but I'm just going to take Patrick Mahomes. Lock up quarterback. Don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah, that's the worst. You don't want to wait until the very end and have to rely on the randomizer to pick the quarterback.
And I think there's enough good quarterbacks that you don't have to worry about it early if you don't want to. But if the opportunity presents itself, I would rather just lock it in. All right, you got Texans again. You like the Texans, so I'm gonna re-roll. Dallas Cowboys for your second pick.
All right, I'm gonna take the. I was looking at an article before this, and I think it was like their offensive line in the '90s was like this poll that I saw was like the highest voted.
Yeah, I mean, you got Emmitt Smith running behind those guys. Obviously, the Super Bowls that they won, obviously they probably had a pretty solid offensive line, even though those before our time of actually watching football.
Yep, I said the Great Wall of Dallas. So I'm going to take the '90s Cowboys line.
All right. Let's lock that in for you. And roll mine. If you guys are watching this, I encourage you guys to do these at home as well, and you can tweet your results. I got Chiefs again, so let's re-roll. Detroit Lions. Yeah, I mean, I think there's two clear picks from the Lions, and that's Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. We also didn't mention before this, each of us gets one re-roll. So we can use our re-roll whenever we want, but we only get one, other than like a dupe team. But I'm just going to take Calvin Johnson for receiver.
So imagine him with Mahomes, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would be absurd.
And I think one part of this that you forgot to mention was, so like, we'll use Terrell Owens for example. I think that was the example you gave me. So like, if we get the 49ers, we would get the 49ers version of T.O. So was that his rookie year or whatever, his first couple years? So it's not like his prime version, or like if we're doing a basketball one and we get the Washington Wizards and like we pick Jordan, like we don't get the prime Jordan, we get the Washington Wizards version of Jordan. So that's another element to this thing too.
Yep. I don't know what is going by my house, if it's a fire truck or what, but something was popping off out there. I rolled for you. You have the Packers for your next pick.
Packers. See, this is one that like I wish I could take Reggie White, right? But I can't. Actually, no, I can't because they get that defensive flex. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Reggie White.
All right. That's actually a good pick because I like if you get Philly, I think he would be an easy pick. So that kind of blocks me from being able to take him if I get Philly. And Philly doesn't have a ton of other great picks. So
yeah, it was him or Charles Woodson.
Yeah, I mean, some strategy definitely like comes into this as well when we're doing this. Let me move your team over a little bit so you can see that. All right, let's roll for me. Chicago Bears. They definitely have some good defensive players, but I'll probably just lock in Walter Payton at running back there. I'm building offense first here. I like to build defense first in these, but that is just not how it's working out.
Yeah, we're doing the opposite. Like,
yeah, you
I got the the defensive line,
yeah,
and I got the offensive line, building from the interior, baby.
All right, for your next pick, you got the you got Cowboys again. So let's roll Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Definitely some options there. I mean, you can go current with Josh Allen, or you just take Bruce Smith, one of the best defensive players ever. But I don't know. The Bills they don't have a ton of options unless you want to. I wouldn't really want to use a running back position on one of their running backs.
Yeah. Sorry, some of these I'm gonna have to look up some all-time teams, but yeah, it's tough. Like, How about I could lock in coach too, like Marv Levy.
Yeah.
He went to 4 Super Bowls, right?
Coach is tough. I don't know, because when we've done these before, like against each other, we haven't done coach. So that's like another layer that we have to bake in that we just haven't done before. So it's, I don't know. Coach is tough.
Yeah.
And most of the good coaches come from good teams where you want to take players from. So.
Yeah. So I mean, like 11-8 in playoff games before the losses in Super Bowls, like take that. You can get to the big game.
All right. Lock in
Marv.
Lock him in. Dallas Cowboys for me. I cannot take their offensive line, as you have already selected them. I am going to take. I honestly I think their offensive line is the best pick here. So that sucks that you've taken them. I'm just going to take Emmitt Smith for my offensive flex.
I mean, that's a juggernaut. You have what? Mahomes, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, and Megatron. Yeah, I mean, good luck.
Yeah, tough to argue that offense there, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's roll for you. Carolina Panthers. This is so there's like, I was thinking about this before, but there's 3 to 4 teams that are just solid reroll candidates. And I think the Panthers are one of them. Not quite as bad as some other teams, but they're in the conversation. They do have a couple good defensive players, and they have Steve Smith, so it's a little bit easier with them, but not the best.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I'm sure I could probably get a better line. Maybe not, though. Like, Luke Kuechly was super elite when he was there.
Yeah, he's great.
So I think that that's what I'll lock in as my linebacker.
Yep, I think that's the best pick. That's who I would take if I were you. I don't. This would be quite. I feel like we should sim this on Madden after just to like see, because you have this dominant defense, and I've got all the offensive players so far.
Yeah, this is definitely like when we were doing this the other night. Like, it was pretty easy to see who was winning, but like for now, I don't know. It's
close.
Yeah.
All right, I got the Seattle Seahawks. This is one of the reroll candidates, I feel like. I don't know if I'm going to, but
I mean, you got like what, Prime Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Bobby Wagner.
There's some solid defensive players. I hate Pete Carroll, so I cannot take him as coach. So I absolutely despise him. That's never happening. So this is a spot, like, I would like to pick Russ here, but obviously I already have Mahomes, so. Yeah, I'll take, I'm going to take Prime Richard Sherman there for defensive back, I think.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there, that's for sure.
49ers for your next pick. That's a great team right there.
Yeah, that is. I think it's got to lock in Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious pick there.
Jerry Rice.
All right, I got Titans while I type in Rice for your team. Titans, I don't know. This is a reroll candidate because their 2 best players are clear running backs, and I already have 2, so I cannot take another one. So I hate burning. I hate burning a reroll here, but I might have to. So and I already have quarterback, so Warren Moon's out. So yeah, I'm gonna have to reroll. I have to use my reroll. That's unfortunate. Dallas already got. Baltimore Ravens. Ooh.
Oh, Jesus.
I think this is between Ray Lewis or Ed Reed.
I mean, I think that there's more. It's 6 and 1, half dozen of the other. Like, you can't go wrong. I just think that there's probably
Oh, there's definitely some
wider
other
pool
players.
of defensive backs than there are linebackers.
I'm
and-
like an Ed Reed stan though, man. He's so good. But yeah, I'm gonna take Ray Lewis for my team, linebacker. Tough to go wrong with that team though. I mean, geez.
No, yeah.
All right, let's spin for you. Chicago Bears. Did you get them?
Already
No, you
did.
didn't. No.
All right. They have to have like a legitimate
They definitely have some good defensive players.
defensive back,
Oh,
right?
I got Bears took Walter Payton, so you cannot take Walter Payton. But I mean, you think about some of those defensive players with Dick Butkus and Urlacher.
Yeah.
Urlacher was so good. I mean, that's more of like our generation, like being able to watch him when we were younger. So.
Yeah. I think that this is one again that I would.
You're kind of blocked though because you have Flex taken up and you have Kuechly, so I actually don't know.
Yeah. So I think that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Mike Ditka at tight end then.
Yeah, that's a good pick. You don't want to you don't want to waste your reroll like me, because now that I've used my reroll on the Titans, it's basically a stone lock that I roll the Titans again at some point.
Yeah,
and it's just
Mike Ditka, like tight ends are few and far between too, so it's I'm good with Mike Ditka.
Yeah. All right, my next team, Arizona Cardinals. I'll just take Larry Fitzgerald. Tough to argue him. Cleveland Browns for your next pick. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? Man. Oh, that's a no-brainer. It's Jim Brown.
Yeah, you have a running back spot open, so that's a good pick.
I got the arguable GOAT running back and the GOAT wide receiver. It's good with that.
100%. I get the Jaguars. Good Lord. I mean, this is just not going good for me. Oh man. I can't. Yeah, I can't take a running back. I have two. I'm gonna have to take Jalen Ramsey and put him at my defensive flex.
I mean, I don't know if I would complain about Jalen
Not complaining, but I mean, you don't want to see that. You do not want to see that Jaguars logo pop up on the screen when I press it.
No, that's for sure.
Minnesota Vikings for you. This guy's gonna have Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. This is unbelievable. What's happening right now?
Yeah, I sure am.
This is unbelievable.
I sure am.
This guy went defense first for his first 9 picks and gets Jerry Rice and Randy Moss rewarded to him. This is absurd.
Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Jim Brown running behind the Cowboys O-line from the 90s. Yes, please. But I'm going to get stuck with like the Jets for quarterback or the Giants and Eli or something.
Oh my God. Stupid. I got the Redskins. I got the Washington Commanders. Oh no. And I've already used my reroll. I've already used my reroll.
What do you have left on D? Anything?
Oh no. I have a defensive lineman available. Oh no. This is.
Oh, what about Joe Gibbs as the coach, right?
It might have to be. Oh God, this is terrible. It might have to be Joe Gibbs because the only other spot available on offense I have is offensive line, and I don't really want any other lines. And then I have tight end, so I could use this season and a half of prime Jordan Reed that they had. But I mean, this is just.
Yeah, I just looked up their all-time team, and I don't recognize any of these names.
It's bad. It's so bad, man.
Yeah, I think Joe Gibbs is your saving grace here. Oh man.
I'm gonna lock in Joe Gibbs. I don't have any other options. It's just. That's terrible. All right, your next team, New York Jets. That's a strong reroll candidate right there. Although you do have a DB spot. You have a DB spot.
It's Revis Island.
Are you locking him in?
Yeah, I will take Darrelle Revis.
I mean, that's the best Jets pick for 100% sure. So you kind of got this guy's running pure all across this draft. It's unbelievable. New England Patriots. Wow. Give me Gronk at tight end all day.
Yep.
Gronk at tight end. Definitely could take some of Brady's lines. I feel like he definitely has some good ones, but yeah, give me Gronk. Philadelphia Eagles for Matt there. You have a quarterback and an offensive flex, and you also have your reroll available.
Yeah, I mean, I think that.
I think you have to reroll this, dude.
I think I do too.
I don't know who you would want there for an offensive flex. I mean, you have.
I could take T.O., I guess.
You got
but...
like older T.O., Deshaun Jackson, Shady McCoy was solid, but.
Yeah, I'm gonna reroll. I'm gonna roll the dice.
See what you got here. Cowboys, you've already got Cincinnati Bengals. Take Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safe choice because if I end up getting a terrible
because you don't have a reroll. So if you don't take Joe Burrow or Boomer Esiason for that point, but I would just take Burrow.
Yeah.
So if you don't take Burrow here and you don't have a reroll, it's literally whatever team I click, you have to pick a quarterback from. That's a tough thing to risk, man.
Yep.
That's tough. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. Joe Burrow. So we have a modern matchup at QB. All right, so I have a defensive lineman and offensive line available. Let's see what team I get. Redskins, I've already had them. Tennessee Titans. What did I say? Did I not say it was a lock that I was going to roll?
You said you need the defensive lineman, though?
Yeah. I mean, they have Curse that I could use. But... do I want to chance this? Because I don't have a reroll. So whatever team I get next, I have to take a line from, which could not be good. Like, what if I roll the Jets? You know, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I guess you could take the line.
But what line am I taking from Tennessee? You know, I mean, they've had decent
whatever
ones
line
recently.
they had when. Yeah, whatever one they had when Henry ran for TK.
They had a really good line. Jack Conklin's last year there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what year that was. That was
2019. Yeah. Right? Has he been in Cleveland for 2 years? 20 and 21? Yeah.
This is going to be his third year with the Browns. So yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's a tough decision here. Do I take the freak? Or do I take their offensive line and risk it? I feel like there's going to be more options for a defensive lineman. But at the same time, there's not, you know, depending on what team I get. Like, I could get the Lions. Oh, wait, I already used the Lions. Thank God. Okay. That's different. So I don't have to worry about that. But, ooh, I'm gonna risk it. And I'm gonna take the Jack Conklin last year their offensive line. So we'll say 2019 Titans offensive line. Just lock that in. All right. So you have no reroll available. You need an offensive flex player from the Washington Commanders.
You're kidding me.
That is a tough look. That's tough. That's the first time you've gotten a bad roll this whole draft. Yeah. I mean, you've got the classic of like Art Monk. You've got the recent players of like a Santana Moss. Clinton Portis comes to mind.
Yep. That's so bad.
That's about the worst possible team you could have just got right there.
That's so bad. I actually have to look something up for them.
That's the worst possible. I mean, off the top, I think it's probably Clinton Portis. But I mean,
that's what I'm thinking
that just doesn't feel
too.
great.
But
I mean, we're doing an all-time team, and you're trotting Clinton Portis. That does not feel great.
yeah. Like I'm just scrolling through some stuff.
I don't even
here.
know. I'm trying to think off the top of like receivers they've had recently. I guess you could go Terry McLaurin if you really wanted to, but I don't. That feels bad as well.
I feel like Clinton Portis is better than him, right? Man,
that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's
bad.
Bad. That's the worst possible thing you could have gotten.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's probably Clinton Portis.
All right. We're locking him in. I need a defensive lineman. Thank God I already got Cardinals. Texans. No, you've already taken J.J. Watt. Oh, no.
Got Clowney, I guess.
Oh, no. Oh, that's just terrible. I'm clowning you here. That's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, you could have given me any other team. You know? Like, where's the Rams at? You know, give me Aaron Donald or something. Way. Yeah, it's gonna have to be Clowney. There's not even any other options. What a joke. What an absolute joke. What do you have, one good year over there? I mean, good lord. All right, that completes the draft. If you guys are watching on YouTube, this is where you guys come into play. We need you to like the video. If you've made it 52 minutes into this video, drop us a like. It takes 1 second to click that button. But we need you to comment which team you think is better, all-time NFL battle between Matt and myself. You just watched the draft. I will read the teams off here, but let us know in the comments which team is better. For myself, I have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, Walter Payton at running back, 2 wide receivers, Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, tight end, Rob Gronkowski, offensive flex, I have Emmitt Smith. I have the 2019 Tennessee Titans offensive line. That didn't even sound good when I say it, you know? Like that sounds so dumb. I have Jadeveon Clowney, defensive line, Ray Lewis, linebacker, prime Richard Sherman at defensive back, defensive flex, Jalen Ramsey and Joe Gibbs as coach. Matt has Joe Burrow, Jim Brown, Jerry Rice, and Randy Moss, the greatest wide receiver combo that will ever be on this podcast. Mike Ditka at tight end, Clinton Portis as offensive flex. The 90s Cowboys offensive line, J.J. Watt on the D-line, Luke Kuechly, linebacker, Darrelle Revis, defensive back, Reggie White as defensive flex, and Marv Levy as his coach. 2 good teams. I mean, for our first ever time doing this on the show, I think both are solid teams. We both got screwed. I think you were very smart to lock in offensive line early. I probably should have done that. But yeah, I think that went pretty smoothly for the first time ever. Like I said, we're going to be doing this every episode with different sports leagues. When we have guests on, we'll do triple threat drafts. But let us know in the comments which team you prefer. Matt, off the top, I'm assuming you're going to prefer your own team because you drafted it. But I think these are 2 evenly matched teams.
Yeah, I think they're very close. Very close. I'd be all right with either as my team. So
100%. Yeah. But I mean, that about does it for this episode of the Fantasy Flourish, episode 2 in the books. Like I said, next weekend we'll be doing a Masters podcast. Hopefully have a guest on to talk golf betting and who we like. Just a little preview for the Masters. We'll be doing a baseball episode in the future as well. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, like the video. Comment which team you think is going to win. We'll see you guys next time.